He's laying there in the dirt. 3rd-degree burns, tortured. Where's Jesus? They laugh at him. They put somebody in compassion puts a towel around him, a coat around him. And they took the man who wouldn't die and they put him on the Isle of Patmos. He's sitting out there on the Isle of Patmos all by himself, never to see his family again, never to see his children again, never to see his wife again. He's laying out there on an island and he's praying. And all of a sudden he hears a voice behind him. And he said, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. And I heard a voice behind me saying, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. I am the beginning and I am the end. I am he that was dead and I am alive. John! Yes, Lord. Let's roll. Let's write the book of Revelation. Let's tell the world what's going to happen in the last days. Come on, John. And for the next 10 years, on that island all by himself, John wrote the book of Revelation with that mauled hand that had been boiled in hot oil. I'm closing this message, but listen carefully to me. There are 2 things that I want to close this message with. Please listen to me. Number 1, there is something that has happened in our lifetime that is so significant prophetically. See, John wrote about the coming of the Lord. Do you understand where we are prophetically? Do you understand that on December the 26th, 2002, the day after we celebrate the birth, the virgin birth of Jesus Christ, the day after there came an announcement on CNN, Fox, CBS, all of them, that the world has never heard. It stunned the world. It was simply this. A cult said, we have cloned a baby. We have cloned a baby in Israel, of all places, and we're naming this little baby girl that has been cloned. In other words, we, the human race, have successfully given life to a human being that God was not responsible for. Please listen. And he said, we've cloned a baby. And we call that baby Eve. For the first time in the history of the world, there is life on this planet that did not get here by God. Why is that significant? Why does that matter? In Genesis chapter 6, Noah's building an ark. Do you know why? Because the Bible said the angels that fell from heaven came down. This is not weird doctrine. This is in your Bible. They came down and they had sexual relations with women on the earth and produced a race that God did not create. And do you know why God sent the flood and killed everybody on the planet except for 8 people, Noah and his family? Because God said they have corrupted the earth. They have corrupted. And the Bible said that concerning Noah, his generations are perfect. What does that mean? Generations are perfect. It means his bloodline is pure. In other words, there was a corrupt race on the earth. And God sent a flood and wiped them out. And Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, it'll be when I come again. In other words, when you see cloning and you see what is taking place, it is an absolute confirmation that judgment is about to come on the earth. Listen to me carefully. Just as, please listen, just as Jesus came supernaturally into the world by supernatural birth, The Antichrist and Satan is just a copycat. He has no creative power. He has to copy everything, imitate everything. Imagine with me for one moment. Satan saw that Jesus was supernaturally born. Could it be that through cloning, a human being is on the planet and others will come that God did not create? They have body, they have mind, but the spirit could come from Satan. And could it be just as Jesus was born supernaturally of a virgin, that Satan is trying to recreate and bring the Antichrist onto the scene? He's got a body. Maybe he's going to fill that body with his spirit. And just as Jesus was God incarnate, so Satan can come into the planet. An Antichrist can come on the scene. I say this to you. Please hear me. These are the last days, just like John talked about. And we're living in a serious time. There are two cities that are talked about in the book of Revelation. Everywhere you read, these are the two cities, Jerusalem and Babylon. Babylon is the ancient region of Iraq. Do you know all we see on the news is the rebuilding of Iraq? Iraq, Saddam Hussein, it's all coming down just like the Bible and John said it would be. He said in Revelation 16, he's crying out, Babylon, Babylon is fallen, and he's describing the end time. I'm telling you, this is no time to ride the fence. This is no time. This is no time to be sort of committed. This is the hour, as they bring the lights up, this is the hour when Jesus is saying, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? All over this building, there are young people that came to this conference, and you came because you were under pressure, or you just wanted to come and have a good time. But God brought you to this place tonight. He brought you to hear this message. He brought you on this first night of Winterfest to come down to this altar and say, Lord, I'm so ashamed of myself because I've talked the talk, but I've not loved you. I want to give myself. I want to self-sacrifice my life so that other people can live. I want to be like Todd Beamer. I want guts enough to stand up when I see wrong taking place and not just sit there and watch people go to destruction and do nothing. But I want my life to count. In a moment, I'm going to count to 3. This is how the Lord told me to do this. And I'm not asking you tonight if you're saved and you're committed to come down here and pray a while. I'm talking to people who are lukewarm. I'm talking to kids in this room right now whose hearts have grown cold. I'm talking to some of you who are already partying, already doing some things. And some of you, you haven't done it yet, but your mind and your heart is already being pulled away. Jesus is asking you, will you die for me tonight? Will you come and lay down your will? Will you have a Lambsville Road experience? And will you die so that I can use you to bring life to somebody else? I believe the Lord is here and He's ready to touch every one of you. With every head bowed and every eye closed, I think I want you to stand all over this building. Would you do that, please? This is not going to be a normal altar call. God is going to do something powerful for those who come forward tonight. The top balcony down to the main floor. When I shout, let's roll, that's my altar call. I'm going to count to 3, and I want every person in this room who would say, I'm not sold out, I'm not committed, I'm not living right, I want to get right, I want to get free, I've got stuff that I need to lay on the altar. I believe Jesus is coming. I believe that this is the last generation, and I want to do my part. I want my will to be God's will. Pray for me.